Virgo, welcome to your March 2019 love reading for single people. It's Raina here. I've done this before. I'm doing it again, and I like to kind of mix things up. And the deck I'm using today is the Morgan Greer deck. So there you go. Just got that card for Cancer. I think of that card as you, Nine of Pentacles. More Pentacles. Ooh. More Pentacles. More Knights. Alrighty, then. Let's see here. This. All right, what do we have here? The heart of the matter for single people. This is you right now. Four of Swords. You may have been sitting out the romance part of life. Maybe you've just been focusing on your work and trying to stay busy and not think about your romantic life for whatever reason. The Four of Swords to me indicates that perhaps there was a stressful period in your past and you are recuperating from that. And I also see it as a solitary card and a card of reflection. So you may be figuring out what went wrong when you were in a past relationship and trying to put the pieces together, if it was traumatic in some way, or even if it just fizzled out in a non-dramatic way, just based on time passing and growing apart. It really doesn't matter. You are taking that time to, get it together. And before I continue, I realize that some of you may not resonate with that. This is obviously a general reading, so please bear with me and see if there are any things that seem like they could apply to your life. Because really, I think the most important thing is just hearing the lessons that the cards represent and not worrying whether or not it applies in the way that you need them to. So that's what the Four of Swords represents to me. Now, your card connected to, Virgo is in the Major Arcana is the Hermit card. So you have that part of yourself, at least according to the tarot, of being somebody who kind of hides away from the world and is contemplative. And I think of the Four of Swords as contemplative too. But, Swords represents thought and air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. But there's like a no thought, kind of like Buddhist with this Four of Swords, because it's almost like putting your thoughts to bed and not dwelling on your thoughts, trying to, get away from why can't I talk right now? Well, it's the middle of the night, incessant thoughts. And like I said, this relates to the air signs. So if there's an air sign person, maybe you've met an air sign person recently that has that strikes your fancy. In the past position, we have the Nine of Pentacles. This, to me, always has, as in the Minor Arcana, represented Virgo, because you're the 9th month, and this is Pentacles. But this is a card of financial independence, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's, for some people, connected to divorce or something like that, because that's the typical scenario. Now, that could indicate that you had this new status where you were taking care of yourself, maybe for the first time in many years. And that could indicate why the Four of Swords has shown up, because it's showing that you really wanted that time to yourself. What crosses you is represented by the Ace of Pentacles. So it could be saying that you are kind of reluctant to start a relationship that is really solid or serious. When I say solid, I mean long-lasting, not like an affair or fling. Because maybe you want that time to yourself. Again, you're the hermit, so maybe you are enjoying your solitude, and you don't want to necessarily have to answer to somebody right now. So, to me, so far, this is a reading of transition, where you are coming into this identity as a separate individual again. And if you were in a marriage, for instance, and you divorce, then you have to get used to this idea of what it means to be single. And it can be very strange if you were married or coupled for many years, to be, and you know, I didn't think about this, but even widowed. It can be very strange because you identify as part of a twosome. So, yeah, you know, whatever that means to you. Now, the advice is represented by the Tower card. Now, when I saw the Tower card, I was like, uh-oh, because not that I fear the Tower card, but just wondering what it would mean for you. But now that I realize it's in this advice position, what it's saying to you is to drop the past. So, whatever happened, let it just disappear from your life. Today is a new day. Just completely obliterate the past. Now, obviously, you can't really do that. There is something, you know, we have our past. Sometimes if you have been in a marriage or the equivalent, you have children with somebody. You're not going to just pretend that all of the memories that are connected to the child through the two of you are just completely going to be wiped out of your mind. But in general, this idea of moving on means that you stop pining away for somebody, that you realize that it's really over, and that you're ready to move on. Because when there's an ace, like this Ace of Pentacles in the challenge position, to me, it suggests that the person isn't ready to start a new relationship. They haven't moved on yet. And the Tower means that you make a clean break, like instantaneously. So it could even be like a eureka moment where you realize, I don't have to pine away for this person because I'm pining away for fantasy. That person was never who I thought they were, and so I need to really get a grip. And something may happen. It might be that person. Sometimes these people that you pine away for, they end up stepping in it, and they, you know, show their butts, and then you know exactly what they're up to. And you may have romanticized it in the past, and now you realize that they are manipulators, or they are, you know, like con artists, or just simply narcissistic, and you're just grateful to be done with it. And you realize, oh, wow, I've really dodged a bullet. But, you know, what am I thinking even wanting to get back together? And because of the Mercury retrograde that is happening during most of the month, and you're ruled by Mercury, so you may be even more sensitive to this than the average person, Virgo. You have to also be careful that you may hear from somebody from your past that broke it off with you, perhaps, and you just always secretly harbored a fantasy that they would contact you again. And maybe now they have, and you're just like flattered, when in fact they may be narcissistic and they need that fix. They need to screw you over. They need to entice you to drop everything and be with them. And they know that you have a tendency to do that, that you could very easily do that. So it's just about being, you know, forearmed is, or how's it go? Forewarned is forearmed. You'll have to forgive me. It's like 1:30 in the morning, and I'm a little loopy. What is coming in is represented by the Knight of Pentacles, and this is a card of somebody who is a very hard worker, somebody who is very diligent in their work. I'm going to try to plug in my, I don't want this to go out, and it's about to. Okay, I think I averted disaster here. Yeah, so the Knight of Pentacles can actually relate to the sign of Taurus. So if this is that relationship that you've been wanting to start, maybe, you know, with the Ace of Pentacles, you were talking to somebody who was a Taurus and they were not available at the time, and you were still recovering from your past as well, and maybe the timing will be right. This could be a timing card in general. So the new moon in Taurus, May 4th, that might be when things get popping for you. And then the outcome is the Knight of Wands. And this is actually, it's funny, the Knight of Pentacles turns into the Knight of Wands. And the Knight of Wands is connected to Sagittarius of all the fire signs. I connected to Aries. The other fire sign is Leo. But maybe, you know, I mean, I guess it's possible. Of all the fire signs, you would probably be most attracted to a Sag, since you're both mutable signs. So maybe around the time of that new moon in Taurus, you meet a Sagittarius. Maybe it's as simple as that. But it's also a card of that sense of passion. It is kind of like the card of sowing your oats. And in your case, as I said, you might need to just chill and not get too serious with anyone just yet. You might not be ready. You might not be ready to let go of the past and have your tower moment yet. And in the meantime, you may just be enjoying being a free agent, and that's okay. But there's a sense of adventure and confidence, I think, with this Knight that maybe was kind of like you felt was sucked out of you from a past relationship that ended badly, and now you feel more like that old self again, that enjoys new adventures and loves to just travel perhaps and be interested in your life and passionate about it, but not necessarily wanting to commit. And I could see a lot of Virgo people kind of saying, hey, that sounds good to me, because I think you're very comfortable being alone. And you probably, you have exacting standards. You don't want to just settle for anyone. So don't, you know. And in the meantime, enjoy your life. And when you're enjoying your life, a person can come when you least expect it. And maybe this is going to be a Sagittarius. Who knows? Okay, Virgo, that's what I have for you. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you'd like a private reading, which is astrology based for my love readings, please click on the link below. Take care. Bye.